guiding it through the process.
Cindey, from your point of view, what is an art director's role and responsibility?
I would say it's quite similar to an animation director as well. It's definitely a lot of guiding, but also sort of coming up with the initial vision for the visuals of the film as well. And yeah, just kind of being there for the designers and kind of keeping that general vision intact so no one goes too far. Yeah.
And Tini, can you give us like a quick overview of everything a producer is responsible for?
Yeah, that's same as Erica. That's tough. But what I like is if you say herding cats, because that's basically what it is. Because you have all those kittens and they all want to do everything and all the time and in different directions. So it's basically just keep them together and also keep them on target, because we also had a delivery date, as Deb mentioned. So and I really want to also point out that that was one of the most fun experiences for me, that we didn't have the tools that I typically have in my day-to-day life, where I'm like, okay, now over time, where there's people or there's a big studio and then I get another crew, it's just us. So we came together and we had sometimes frazzled supervisors who were like, well, what are we going to do? And then, like Deb said, we came together and then it was like, oh, okay, cool. Who does that? Who does that? And then we always came out in a solution. And believe me, this was late night meetings at the stove, making your dinner 8 o'clock. But it was fun and you felt accomplished and really, like exhausted, but not drained. So I think that was very different also to an experience of your day-to-day. Not that the day-to-day is always draining you, but it can be. So, yeah.
All right. And Anna, what does a director do on a short film?
Yeah. You work a lot and very hard and all the time. But yeah, it was a fun experience. I thought coming into the project, I was going to be living my David Fincher dreams of having control of every single step and like having to make my movie, but then learning that no, that's a very romanticized version of what this role actually is. And being a director is really actually being a supportive piece. We kept joking about being a ship steerer, that you're just making sure that we're all moving in the same direction, making sure that we got the core of the story always in vision, and making sure that even though some ideas are really great and fantastic, I wish we could have it in the film, but do they actually meet our message and what we want to come across with? So it's really about also a little bit about herding cats, but mainly being this piece that is a support, is about giving room for people to make the room and the resources for people to make the best job that they can.
All right. And Anna, how would you describe the Animation Career EXCELerator Program, and what was your experience in the program like overall?
Yeah, so this program was created to help women in the industry advance their careers. So what the program is looking for is kind of mid-level women that already have some experience in the industry, but are finding difficulty or not quite, don't feel quite ready to jump into leadership roles. So this is the program offers this opportunity for you to get a credit role on a major creative position, so that you can leverage that into your career in the industry. And being part of it was really fantastic. On my personal experience, was just having this great place that offers the mentorship and the guidance to creating a short film, a very special short film that we all had a lot of creative control into it. And I also got to meet and work with new women that I haven't met before, and that they're all kind of in the same position as I was, and just coming together to create something beautiful. It's really unique. And yeah, I recommend everyone to apply for it.
And Tini, do you have anything that you'd like to add about the Animation Career Accelerator Program?
So what I really liked is, beside all the things that Anna said, because obviously I agree, is that they include also the shortlisted candidates. So there's tons of workshops and prep, and you learn how to pitch yourself and you pitch your project. And it's all for the also for the shortlisted candidates, which I think is exceptional. I've never seen that before, and it makes it very inclusive. It resulted that even 2 of those shortlisted, not picked candidates made their own movie, which I think is very encouraging, and that's what it's about. Because we all know there can only be, like a certain number that go into the program, but if this encourages people, women, to do more, that's fantastic, right? And then it tries to be very true to the normal process. So I think we said that before. There was the script, then I got on board, and then there was the pitch for the director, and then the animation director, or art director, in that order. So it's very much like normal life. So it preps you for going into our next short film, which we're already trying to, this is obviously not the last. We just do one short and that's it. It's a springboard. We want to do more. And I want to tack on just one thing that Anna said, because I saw it yesterday when I scrolled through my Instagram. It's like, apply or do it before you're ready. And I think this is so fitting for this program, because you will never feel ready for something. Just do it. Just do it before you feel you're ready. And I think we all had that feeling, or when we talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cindey, what was your experience in the Animation Career Accelerator Program like?
Actually, I want to add one more thing to what Tini was saying.
Absolutely.
On the similar topic, in terms of like applying before you feel ready, because actually I knew somebody who didn't apply even though they wanted to apply, and I feel like it's like, oh, you should have applied, like even just to go through the process, or even get to go through with the shortlisted workshops and such. But my experience, it was really great, and I think it's a really special program, because you don't get the chance to have the freedom to make a short film like this, and with so much support from everybody, and having like a team of like-minded individuals to work on it. So yeah, it was a great experience.
And Erica, what was the experience like for you in the Animation Career Accelerator Program?
It was great. Yeah, I feel like I'll probably echo a lot what everyone else said. Yeah, because often if you were to be, I guess, placed in that role in just like a regular production environment, there might not be the support that the program has. So having that support and having the mentorship and workshops, I found really, really helpful, because it is a lot of responsibility. So it's really nice to sort of have that backing you up when you're thrown into that role, and guiding a team of people and being in that leadership position. So yeah, having the support was really amazing. And also, yeah, getting to work on the film with this wonderful group of people, and yeah, getting a lot of creative control that you wouldn't often get in like a regular production environment was really amazing. And yeah, it's a great experience.
And Debora, as an artist who joined this project, what was your experience like?
Yeah, I have a little bit different experience. I didn't have the mentorship in a way, but I would say maybe I was lucky that I had a really, really good boss that was kind of mentoring me even before, trying to prepare me to like step up and become more supervisor roles. And going to the short film and having this collab and seeing on my day-to-day that sometimes you cannot have. You have some collab, but you have some limitations. You have other troubles. I would say it's different. That's why I say the short was really fun. And the day-to-day sometimes not always fun. It has some other perks, but it helped a lot to prepare when I started with my crew after the short film finish. How to guide them, how to talk, like how to do this, and even talk with the other supervisors in the day-to-day work that time. It was really nice. I was not in the program, but it's still it's super nice to be able to participate at the project. And I would say I kind of want to apply as well. And everyone that kind of is in the middle of the fence, just apply. I would say it was a really nice experience, and I didn't have all that of the support, but yeah, I would say apply.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the short film. Anna, how do you describe Pivot?
So Pivot is the story about Ashley. She is turning 12 years old, and she is discovering who she wants to be, but mainly she discovered who she doesn't want to be anymore, and that is that she doesn't want to really wear the very girly dresses that her mom really likes her to. So we learned that Ashley really likes to play basketball, so her preferred clothes are actually clothes that are more athletic and give her more liberty. So on her birthday day, we met Ashley, and we see mom bring in this really floral, like lots of florals, lots of lace, big flurry dress for her. And Ashley really has to face that moment where she doesn't really have yet the courage to tell mom that she is no longer her little girl and she has grown up. So all these feelings get bottled up, and they create I'm gonna spoil a little bit, but yeah, we get to see Ashley having to face the dress that has become a monster due to all these feelings that she has suppressed for so long, and eventually she has to overcome it, and really embrace who she is and who she wants to be.
And as you're telling that story, there is just a lot stylistically that's very ambitious happening in the film. There are detailed characters, elaborate scenes with moving lighting, animated glitter, and a dress that turns into a monster. So can you describe some of the work that goes into making this short a reality? And I want to start with Tini, just from a sort of bird's eye view. How many people were involved in the production of this short, and especially on the visual development side?
So visual development, I think, wasn't that many, because it's basically Cindey and the mentors doing that, and with Anna. However, once the visual development was accomplished, then the crews roll on. Again, we're following a very normal production pipeline. So it would go into designers. I think we had about 3 or 4 designers. We had 2 builds artists, always one as a supervisor. So it was quite small the actual short is 5 minutes 40, I think. Maybe in total we had like 40 or 50 people. So it's not even, and I have to say, at the beginning, when we started the project, having 5 minutes or 7 pages of a script within a year, you say, well, that's easy. It's not a problem. We can do all that, because we all do it on top of our work, right? But then with the fun part is that everyone can be creative, right? There is no client, there's no one who's basically telling you where to stop. Yes, the EPs have an eye on the budget, and they always, or they help me as a producer to make sure that we're not going completely crazy. And we didn't. And that's why I like the word ambitious for that too, because we obviously stayed in touch, and Erica was part of the visual development to see what the characters were doing. And we also wanted to do that. And I remember the moment when we saw the monster for the first time, And then we went like, oh my God, this is so cool. We have to make this happen. And then we got the build supervisor involved, and she had some ideas. And then it's actually a really neat combination out of animation and effects. So, but we didn't want to, have any department to suffer too much. So it's also it was my task to make sure that all the department, have it distributed evenly, so nobody is like completely dying. So just a little bit. We all died a little bit, I have to say, because I really have to say it is a very ambitious project, like you said. But the accomplishment at the other end is so fantastic that you know why you're doing it. You know why you put all that effort and blood, sweat, and tears into it. And I'm always seeing myself as a producer. I'm like, I'm asking the questions. I'm like, are you fine? Can you do that? What else do you need? And then they know where the limitations are. And I think this was also one of my favorite parts, that everyone is very, and I say that in a cheeky way, very adult and grown up. There's no one, it's never that I had to say, Anna, this is crazy, we can't do that. It's like we came together and say, oh, this is crazy, how can we do it? And that's a very different way to look at it. Little bit.
All right. So Anna, I wanted to ask you, as the director, from a conversation earlier, it sounded like you got the script, and from there, all the pieces started to fall into place. So what were you thinking visually as you're going through the script, and things you're thinking about when you wanted to tell the story in a short film?
Yeah, so the script was created and written by Robin Campbell. She was the selected writer in the program. And from the first time reading it, to me, it was really about creating, we had this limitation that all the story was placed inside Ashley's room. So really making sure that we could create this different spaces within the same room, because the story, although the story starts in the room, it's really about Ashley's feeling. So my vision for it sort of was having these two-dimension places. So the reality of her life, and then this imagination, you can say imagination / emotional part of it, which is darker and it's scarier because of all the frustration that has built up over time. So that was the main idea that I tried to accomplish with the film. So then having Cindey come in, and like we said, within the program, we have a short list. We had 3 shortlist candidates, and each of them presented a pitch based on the script. And when Cindey came in and presented her vision piece, to me, it was an instant click. It's like, oh, this girl gets it. Because she had this really cute frilly dress, but it had these creepy eyes on it that were the flowers middle part. I'm like, it's the ones that you essentially see in the film. But yeah, it was really fantastic to see once she presented it. It's like, oh, I knew that was the thing, because it's not really a horror film. It's more about her feelings, so how things can become unexpected and bigger than reality in itself. So those were the initial sparks that created the film.
And Cindey, I wanted to ask, from your point of view as the art director, what do you feel is important for the look and feel of the film?
For the look and feel, I think I wanted to have this feeling of there's something odd or creepy about it, but I still wanted everything to be cute. So it's kind of this strange contrast, but it comes out sort of charming in the end, where you're like, this is kind of creepy, but why is it kind of cute? So that was sort of my whole thing throughout with everything that I did. And just having that, I think, kind of goes with just like the character of Ashley or her world, and Like she's a likable character, a likable girl, and a girl that we call her like the everyday girl, where somebody that we could all relate to, or other young girls can relate to. So just kind of maintaining that appeal was my main focus in terms of the design.
Yeah, and when we're talking about the characters, these are really detailed character rigs that if you didn't know that they were rigs, you might not realize it. So, Erica, can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts as you're taking these characters through these scenes and the performances you're trying to get out of them?
Yeah. So I was very lucky to get the wonderful designs from Cindey. And then, it was really important that we figure out a way to bring them to life, because Ashley, her emotional journey through the film is very important to convey. So we wanted to make sure that her rig was very flexible and light, so that the animators had a lot of control over it. Because as well as acting and performing, she also has to fight a dress monster and do a lot of action as well. So we added a lot of deformers into her build to give the animators a lot of control. We had to play around with a lot of texture as well to match Cindey's concepts, which was really fun. We got some nice texture in the line, and then also details in her hair as well, which were added in as separate textures. And then we had the dress monster as well, which was a very intimidating design to tackle, but it was a big team effort between builds, animation, and effects, and then as well, Comp added the magical touch at the end to make it really sing. It was very complicated design, and it needed to do and move around a lot. So we actually, in some of the transformation scenes, we also had some hand-drawn animation as well from effects, which was really fantastic. Lots of different layers added on by different departments. So it was definitely a big team effort for all of that.
It is really cool when the final result is sort of more than the sum of its pieces, and you can sort of see everybody's contributions really made something have impact. Debora, I wanted to ask you, on the compositing side, what are some things that maybe the audience might not at first notice, but will feel when they watch the short?
On that side, it's light. But comp department itself, it's all to bring everyone's work together. Susie, down, sorry. all everyone's work together, and make sure that everybody works pop, and we can pick up the vision from the art director and make it to life. There's a lot of sudden lights that involve the character when she's more in a sort of emotion. It's all about to conveying the emotion that she's feeling. So if it needs to be something more dramatic, the light gets stronger. If it needs to be something more subtle, she's just like thinking or like not sure, the light changes just a little bit. It's a hint of change. And I don't know, I feel that the part that is really, really nice that we are being able to achieve on comp lately. If you look a little bit around, and I don't know, it's a combined effort. So the builds, it was done super well. Animation was also super well. So when we applied the light on top of that, it works. It was not heavy. They didn't have any troubles. The monster, it seems like super scary, but done with everyone like knowing. It was a big conversation, to be honest, on that one. That everyone kind of, okay, I need to do it this way and that way, and it was not heavy on any department to how to achieve that. Everyone knew how to do it, and it was possible to achieve the look that it was like the main goal on comp. It's always get the color script and some concept art, and make sure that we can make that and match to the final picture, and of course make sure that it moves with all the animation work and make it pop the animation work and effects as well. That's basically what comp does.
And I think it really shows. Anna, I wanted to ask you, as the director, what was the most challenging element of this production for you, and how did you approach tackling it?
Many things were a challenge, but like everyone's been saying, getting together and having those conversations to solve it was the key to solve everything. Within the story realm, the biggest challenge was focusing on Ashley's emotion, because very easily the monster could take over and steal the scene, right? Because the monster is so amazing and looks so great, but the story is not really about it. It's about Ashley's feelings. So that was one of the biggest challenges, making sure that although everything looks great, we should have to feel this character and keep our, like, we shouldn't be rooting for the monster. We should be rooting for staying with Ashley and her feelings. So making sure that all throughout the steps and all like through the visual development and everything, we maintain ourselves true to Ashley's feelings and emotions. At a certain point, through storyboards, which were magnificently, I don't know how to say some words, were amazingly done by our supervisor, Jay Harm. We felt that we needed voices. So we recorded a voice actor to do a lot of voices for Ashley. She didn't really speak, she just emoted. But then when animation came in, we really felt that those were no longer needed, because animation, what the crew did was so unbelievable. We really were feeling that character when she's feeling sad, and it was really amazing to see how much the animation really brought to the piece that wasn't there before. So I'm sorry to say that all that effort within the voice recording, it wasn't done in vain, because all of that serve also to guide the animators, especially timing wise, for the acting, right? So making sure that we had someone there to emote. The breathing and the feeling also helped animation become more realistic in that sense. But at the end of the film, we basically have very little voice work there. So that was a big challenge, but I'm very proud of what we could accomplish at the end.
Yeah. Tini, from your role, what was the most challenging aspect of this production, and how did you approach it?
So I think the biggest challenge is to produce a film it's when you take it and you label it a passion project, you basically can't get people to do it. And I'm just trying to find words, because the challenge is also the most satisfying part when you find people who work with you. So finding a crew, for example, the animators, they were just fantastic, and they jumped on it in a crazy way, and there was Erica did a fantastic job guiding them, but it was also very easy to convince them. We showed them the concept. And I think nobody said that, it was very interesting how every single person connected to that story with the dress. Everyone had a dress or knew someone similar experience to be forced into something that you don't like. So it's a very unique story. And because I thought this was, when I read the script, I'm like, oh my God, this is me. And then I thought, that's just me. And I'm like, wait, what? There's everyone, which is a bit sad, but also really good to tell that story. So they all connected, every designer, every animator. So if they were on it and they had the time, that was perfect. That was very satisfying. But then also we had departments that said, okay, that's all I can do, and I cannot give you more. So there were moments where I'm like, so what am I going to do? I have no money I can throw at people. I can just go around and beg. And obviously that's when you come up with the creative solutions. Again, the team really did a fantastic job. Or it also shows when the supervisor just steps in and says, like, okay, I'm taking over now and I'm finishing that, because like, I can't draw, I cannot do the things, I can't animate, you have to do it. So I think the challenge and the accomplishment, they're very together, and it's a bit nerve-wracking, but yeah, in the end it worked out. So
Yeah. Cindey, as the art director, what was the most challenging element of this production for you?
I think there were a few moments that were challenging, but a lot of it also had to do with just also that we had a date for this film. Like there's actually a time when you need to finish this. So there were a few moments when we're very strapped for time, you could say, or it was kind of like, okay, these things need to be done now. But like everyone has been saying, I think we were always able to find a solution. Like an example, I would say would be even when we were getting into some of the backgrounds for the like the inside the monster or Ashley's emotions. I think we reached a point where those needed to be done, but it was only a limited amount of time. But then we came together and figured out a way to do it. A lot of it was actually through comp with Deb. So that really just transformed that whole sequence and made it an easier task to accomplish, but also allowed us to deliver it on time.
Yeah. And Erica, as the animation director, you have a lot of characters, or you have three main characters that you're animating and sort of guiding the performances on. What was the most challenging aspect of that part of the production?
Yeah, I think for that, the most challenging part was the fact that we were all working remotely. So trying to make sure that all of the animators sort of knew which emotional beats to hit for Ashley in each scene was really important. I got really lucky and had a really fantastic animation team. So I think that helped a lot. I also tried to break it down as much as possible beforehand. I created a roller coaster of emotion for Ashley to sort of prove as a guide for the animators as to where she was emotionally at each point throughout the film, which hopefully was helpful to them.
it's a literal roller coaster, by the way.
Yeah, and she should patent it because it will become an animation method.
Yeah, it will be. It will end up in
future.
a guide, and then you
Yeah.
will see a little wagon with Ashley in it. It's hilarious.
And that it even
I
had
do that.
comp to make sure that we were achieving the look. So I was following always like, okay, we're there.
Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah.
But yeah, having those guides, I think, was really helpful. And then we also had our composer for the project, Eva. She provided a scratch track for the film, which I feel was really, really important for the animators to sort of get that emotional feel throughout the film. But yeah, doing everything remotely was definitely a big challenge, especially because I find when I try to explain acting beats, I perform a lot with my face and my hands, which is harder to do through Zoom. But yeah, I feel like the animators did a really fantastic job of carrying it off. So big hats off to them as well.
Erica, do you prefer working with humanoid characters like the protagonist, or more fantastic creatures like the dress monster?
I think like the acting stuff is what I really love to sink my own teeth into when I'm animating. The dress monster was a very different thing from anything I've ever done. So it was a really fun challenge to get to look at more inspiration from different types of animals and how it would move, and figure out how to bring Cindey's fantastic designs to life in a way that was intimidating to Ashley and also represented like her emotional frustration as well, because we wanted to make sure it didn't just feel like a random animalistic beast. We wanted to really tie it into her feelings. So I think both were a lot of fun in different ways. Yeah. And
Debora, you mentioned that you were following that emotional roller coaster journey for the main character through the scenes. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came into play during the short?
Yeah, so with that roller coaster, it gave me the idea where we need to change the light. And the change the light is just to pass even like to bring even more the emotion that she was feeling in. So if she's happy, it's usually a brighter spot. It's usually warm colors. If she started to get sad or upset with something, it was more not too dark, but getting to a darker tone and more bluish. So you're kind of not feeling too well. And when the monster came, becomes like a really ups and downs and really crazy light. So it was using both the roller coaster and all the color script that we had to make sure that we achieve the beat, like I would say using Erica's word, but it was literally to make sure that when we need to hit the peak of the light to getting on one spot and when it goes down, and it's subtle, but it helps to pass the emotion. It helps to pop the all the work the animation did and tell the story. That's how we can end up using. So we knew from this point to this point we need to make it stronger or brighter, lighter, whatever it was, following that.
And one thing about this short is that it was made possible thanks to Women Animation Vancouver's Animation Career EXCELerator Program. Tini, I was wondering if you had any thoughts about the resources provided through the program that made this possible.
So the most important part, I think, that helps this program, or it's one of the core support that you get during the program, is the mentorship. So every one of us got 1 or 2 mentors that just really, and hold your hand is too much because you basically create your own movie or your own short, but there's always someone to turn to if you have an issue or question. You meet regularly every week or every other week, and these are highly experienced industry professionals. And I think it's almost a luxury where you say, because obviously you can always say, hey, I'll make a short film, and then you just try and error or whatever. There's maybe some people you can turn to, but this is very focused and very clear, and you have that direction. And all those women mentors are also went through the same questions, same issues, maybe even harder because they did not have that kind of program. So they understand very much your thinking process, your thought process. And I think that's one of the core resources you have to go through that. On the other hand, you obviously we were the crew. We did that movie together, so we had to find ways to also talk to every single person that is have like the animation crew, and we did interview people, and so that follows a very normal process. Also to excite them, to see how can you find people to be passionate about something that they are not within the project, but as you can see with Deb, and then we also had our FX supervisor and build supervisor, they were as excited, even if not in the program, because they still get something out of it. And then I don't know, obviously there's a little budget there, which is there's beautiful funding, I think from Telefilm, and Toon Boom provided the Harmony licenses and the storyboard license, and so there is a lot of like a baseline that you can lean onto, and then I think also that's why that whole ambitious level was working, because we already had something to kind of lift off.
And Anna, were there any resources provided through the ACE program that were particularly helpful, such as mentorship or other resources?
Yeah, mentorship was very, very important in the program. It's amazing to have the support of such a strong and an amazing network. Having these examples, it's not often that we get to work with female leaders in the industry, so it's amazing to see examples of good work and someone to look up to, and like I can see our careers going forward in the same path, or being inspired by the work of that person. So that was very special, having to work with these amazing women from all the departments. Also getting to learn a little bit more closely about each department, about the work that goes into every single step. Sometimes in the industry, we don't get that chance to work so closely with everyone. So that was a fantastic experience as well. And yeah, having access to a crew, to a little bit of budget, and making sure that we could make the film that we actually wanted. That those were the resources that were really priceless. What else? The workshops. We had fantastic workshops about pitching ourselves and how to talk better about ourselves and our work with Jen Miller. That was fantastic. Also workshops on how to have difficult conversations. That was also very special, because throughout making the film, we often bump into some moments where, yeah, we don't really agree, and how can we work together better. We often learn some myths on women working together throughout the years, right? Like that women don't work well together. Women get into a fight. It's competitive. That's bullshit. Excuse me, but this was the most collaborative project I've ever been into. Every meeting was really a joy to be in. Marvelous. So great program. I got too excited there. Sorry.
Cindey, do you have any thoughts about any of the resources or workshops that you found really helpful?
I think everything that Anna and Tini have said so far, for sure, I completely agree and have had similar experiences. But I also wanted to point out, I think in addition, just being in the program, you also experience a lot of support from the community and even your workplace. Like, even though they might not be directly involved, they are sort of supporting you regularly as you're on this journey. And I've definitely received more opportunities at my workplace at the time, because they knew I was in the program and what I was that I was putting myself out there to say that I do want to be an art director, or I am an art director. So yeah, so it goes beyond the program as well.
Definitely, yeah.
And Erica, do you have anything that you want to add about the mentorship workshops or resources provided through the ACE program?
Yeah, I feel like everyone covered a lot of it already. But yeah, the mentorship aspect I found super helpful. Just, yeah, guiding me through the role of animation director and what it all entailed, and especially focusing on that support aspect and being there for the team, I felt was really important. The workshops, the pitching yourself, the difficult conversations, I found them all super helpful as well, because yeah, those soft skills are really important to have when you're in a leadership role. And then, yeah, Cindey mentioned having the support of your workplace, because we were all working on top of our day jobs as well to complete the film. I definitely would not have been able to do it without Atomic Cartoons there supporting me, and I'm, yeah, very grateful for that as well. But yeah, overall, there was just so much support from all aspects of the program. So 2 thumbs up as well.
And Debora, I know you came to this project already as a compositing supervisor, but do you have any thoughts broadly about mentorship in animation?
I'd say it helps a lot. A lot of people that, like, while you're working mainly on comp, they have no idea what you do, so it's like super fun half of the times to show. But it's also give us self-awareness of what it's happened beyond what you were doing. And I felt that the program, like just being on the side, just sitting and watching, in a way, it helped it a lot. You can see that, like, oh, it was so easy to talk with everyone. It was so easy, like, to communicate and get the message. And if you didn't understood, okay, let's try it again. Or like, we need help. How we accomplish this? It was never like, oh, you do this, you do that. That sometimes is really different on your day-to-day. And that makes, like, late nights really fun when we sit and talk, because it was like literally a collab. Like, what could you do? Everyone pitching ideas until we find, oh, this might work. and divide and kind of like bring all together. So I would definitely say like the mentorship really did amazing work. Like all the girls were already rock stars, so it feels it just brought the best of them out, and it was really good. I would like definitely recommend. I was on the outside, didn't have that support in a way, but even though if I needed anything, I could jump on a call with them and like, what about this? And everything kind of comes together and a talk, and we solve it and we make it happen.
Sounds like a great opportunity.
Yes.
So I wanted to, as we're getting towards the end of the conversation, Anna, I wanted to ask you, do you have any advice for artists who are interested in making the jump to directing their own short films?
Yeah, take advantage of programs like this. I definitely didn't think I was ready for it. I knew I wanted it. I didn't think I was ready for it, but when I saw the announcements for the program, my first thought was applying for an animation director, because that's what I do on my day-to-day, and I felt it would be, I was like, no, I really want to direct. Why not really try for what I want? So don't feel afraid of not being ready, not feeling really fit for it. Try it out. Put yourself out there. Like Cindey said, the moment that you make your like what you really want known, people really start paying attention to you and making sure that sometimes if there's a way to make accommodations for it to happen, industry will make it, because it's really important for them to nurture and have talent grow, right? Because the industry is so big, there's definitely room for everybody. So try it out, say what you want.